Hello and welcome to ENT 1001 Introduction to Entrepreneurship. I'm starting by explaining some ground rules. And I don't mean rules that you need to be constrained by, but just an explanation of how this subject works because it is a little bit different. First of all, it's about doing. Yes, you're going to be reading some theory. Yes, you're going to be introduced to some conceptual stuff, but it's mostly about applying what you learn. So some of the things you will be doing is presenting a business idea to the rest of the class. You'll be talking in groups to come up with business opportunities. You'll be writing blogs that will be read by the rest of your classmates. You'll be sharing things that you've read in the news that are related to entrepreneurship and what we've been touching on in class. And you'll be doing some research in the classroom on real companies and summarizing your results. So there's a lot of action involved. Next thing is questions. Questions are good. Questions, questions, questions. Entrepreneurs question things, so it's perfectly reasonable to ask a question if something doesn't make sense to you. There is no such thing as a stupid question, except perhaps if the answer is clearly given somewhere in the unit outline or on Blackboard and you haven't actually read it yet. If you can't read that cartoon, zoom in. Otherwise, the only dumb question is the one that you were too scared to ask, because the chances are if you had a question, somebody else was probably thinking the same thing, and they'll be very grateful to you for speaking up and asking what they were thinking. There'll be lots of discussion, and the reason for that is that you get ideas or you develop ideas by talking about them with other people, and that's something we'll keep on coming back to. Some people think you should keep your business ideas to yourself in case somebody steals them. Wrong, wrong, wrong. We'll be explaining why. So by exchanging knowledge, it's a win-win game. If you give knowledge to somebody else, they have it, you still have it, and they give some knowledge back to you that you didn't have before, everybody wins. We have the fortune in this subject usually to have a wide variety of students, usually from first, second and third year, and from all sorts of different disciplines, including some outside of the business faculty. So we get different perspectives on things. And it's good to discuss those different perspectives so we don't end up thinking that we agree on something when we're actually all thinking of something different. We also have quite a lot of group work. Now, I know that some people don't enjoy group work, and I do understand why. But the reason that it's important in an entrepreneurship unit is that, contrary to what you may have think because of what you read in the press, entrepreneurship isn't something you do by yourself. Yes, you have to be a leader. You have to be prepared to go it alone sometimes when other people aren't convinced by what you want to do. But basically, you make progress by working with others. Because even though you might be the one with the idea and the passion, you're going to need other people to get you there. So it's good to actually involve other people and learn how to negotiate with them. The graphic here shows the positive idea of conflict. So if everybody agrees with each other publicly, then what you've got is, at this end of the continuum, artificial harmony. It means that everybody's just being too polite to say what they think. On the other hand, if you go to the other end and it becomes personal attacks, then that's not constructive. It just starts with people calling each other names, making accusations, and you make no progress. The ideal conflict point is somewhere in the middle, where there's enough conflict that people are really saying what they think, but not to the point where they've stopped listening to other people, or they've started attacking the person rather than arguing against their viewpoint, or explaining to them that the way they're expressing it is not appropriate. And we'll talk a bit about that in the classes as well. There are often no right or wrong answers, and this is going to bother some of you. If you're used to disciplines perhaps like finance or accounting or even marketing, where there's fundamental knowledge and you're expected to remember it and perhaps reproduce it in an exam, then you may find it challenging that in entrepreneurship there are often no right answers. And similarly, it's just as important to ask the right questions. I love this quote Ursula Le Guin is actually a fiction writer. Some of you may have read her books. There are no right answers to wrong questions. If you're asking the wrong question, then no amount of answers is going to help you. So one of the things I want to encourage you to do is get used to the fact that you will never have enough information to be sure of the right answer in entrepreneurship. You're always heading into new territory. So you just have to have a go and be prepared to fail. So on that note, never miss an opportunity to show what you can do, to have a try at something that perhaps you think you can't do. Seize the day, keep calm and show what you know. Have a go and get comfortable with the fact that it won't always work, because you will honestly, trust me, learn more from making mistakes. Your tutors should be prepared to make mistakes as well. I don't get everything right. You'll have noticed there are some stumbles on this video and audio. Doesn't matter. The main thing is that you learn from what you do. And above all, have fun. The classes will be quite dynamic. You'll be in some robust, heated, excitable exchanges with your fellow students, and you'll come up with some crazy ideas. Doesn't matter that they're crazy. The point is that you worked on them together, and there's just a little kernel of something that might work in them. So the point is, have fun and get involved. Looking forward to meeting you in class.